Hello everyone, this is the Southern Hellenic. I'm back with another video. So it's 2:10 in the morning. I'm going to be going to bed pretty soon, but I kind of wanted to do a video about why we have altars. So I'm going to go back in time with this video. Ooh, and I will talk about what it was like for me when like my first altar. So the first altar I had was just a surface with a bunch of candles. I really did not understand what went on an altar and why people had them. So when we talk about altars, we're always talking about a raised surface. So for instance, is you look at Roman paganism, pre-Christian Roman, not Roman, but pre-Christian Greek, or pre-Christian Greece, and their sanctuaries and their temples, and most of all, their altar. And the altar was very important to the society, to all of them. That's why that was generally one of the first things that they destroyed, was the altar, because of how important it was to the function of that building. So you go and you are really looking at something that's important, and Christians know that pagan altars are absolutely something that is essential to the person who's practicing the path, and so that generally is the item that's targeted first. Not the books, not the candles, not the herbs, not the stones. It's always going to be the altar, because the altar is where the pagan or the polytheist or the group comes to do their evil stuff. Okay. So, as I said, my first altar was a bunch of candles, and my mother had no problem with it at all. She let me burn them away, though I did have wax on the floor, and that was before they brought out stuff for that. But of course, as time went on, my altar changed. As I understood more about what went on an altar, and that you could have different altar cloths and all that type of stuff, it changed significantly. So when I was up in Pennsylvania, I had an altar at a women's shelter that did not look like an altar at all. It was a bunch of those little stuffy little animals that I would collect, and because I couldn't have candles, because I couldn't have incense, that was my altar, was a dresser top full of stuffed animals. And then of course I went on to Azure Green, and I would order stuff. And I think when the women took my athame, but that was years and years ago. Or maybe when the women did. And then when I moved into the projects, my altar changed again to where I now have the altar cloth and the candles and the incense and all that type of stuff. Later on down the road, when I couldn't practice my religion, my altar changed again to where basically it was a very simple altar. It was a bowl with an incense burner and 2 candles, no statuary of any kind, and I would leave an offering to whatever god or goddess that I was honoring, or I was working with. Remember, Wiccan face. And my mother, she didn't say anything about it because there was no statuaries or anything like that. It was just a bowl with 2 candles and an incense burner. And then when we moved up to Massachusetts, once again, my altar changed. So my altar has gone through many different kinds of evolutions. Now to the point where it naturally changes as we enter a new libation month. The deity will change. So it's always, my altar always changes. It always changes with the time and everything. But why do we have altars? What is so important about them that we feel the need to spend all this money on all this stuff to put on the altar? And quite simple, because the altar helps us to feel connected to the divine. We feel we're able to do our tarot work, or we're able to do spell work, or it all depends on your path. And we are able to connect with the divine. And a lot of people feel that the altar is absolutely essential for practicing whatever form of paganism that you're practicing. And I do agree that it is absolutely essential. Even if your altar is a bowl with 2 candles and an incense burner, it's still a place you go to connect with the divine, to leave a offering, pour out a libation, whatever you're thinking about. But I have done many altars. I have done travel altars. I've done all that type of stuff because, as I said, my altar does change with the times. But I have actually tried to go without an altar, mainly to keep my mother from making any kind of comment. And I have found that it is absolutely impossible for me to get away from having an altar because I had them for so long. And it's one of those things that, while I did think a lot about why do I have an altar, what is the point of having one, I really have come to that big conclusion that it is what the altar means to me as a polytheist. What the altar means to me as somebody who is practicing a pre-Christian religion. And even when I was Wiccan, I still felt that the altar was absolutely essential. And people can say you don't need an altar to practice this religion. At some point, you're going to buy stuff. You're going to make an altar, and that is just what happens. But anyways, so I kind of want to get on here and just kind of talk about why we have altars. I'm probably not saying everything because it is almost 2:30 in the morning, but I kind of just want to get on here and just talk about why we have altars, why I always have had one, even if that was in my purse. I always had an altar. So anyways, so I just wanted to get on here and just talk about that. Please leave your comments down below. I appreciate it. Update, I did manage to get my prescription yesterday for my anti-inflammatory. And I finished my first round about an hour or so ago. But I'm going to go ahead and go to bed because I'm dead tired. I will upload this video while I'm sleeping. Later on today, I will be doing the ritual for the general health of the Hellenic community, including my own health as well. And yeah. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, I do have 4 Zeus prayer beads done, and I will be putting them up on the 1st of next month. So yeah, so I'll see you guys around. Until next time, may you be happy, healthy, most importantly be safe, and hail to the gods. Bye.